Hello everyone present over here to the event that is live today on creating an awareness about mental health problems and issues related to that. And here Miss Trishna Das will be like guiding us throughout the session. She's actually an NLP practitioner and therapeutic coach, and she have various things. You can like check her account if you want to know more, and I guess she will be really happy to guide you all if you have any issues. Now over to you, Trishna.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shika, for inviting me on this platform. And I would like to introduce myself. So, Therapeutic Couch is my page name, and I am the counseling psychologist. And I also serve as a art therapist and also NLP practitioner. So, yeah, so this is my like current position and in that page. So yeah, we are I guess we are here to talk about mental health awareness, right? So when we talk about mental health awareness, so we are trying to aim uh, to enhance the public awareness regarding mental health issues and the importance and the significant role that mental health plays in each and everyone's day-to-day life, right? So it's a general question for everyone. Like, what do you think, what mental health is like for you? What is mental health? And like, Shika, you want to comment on this? You would like to.
Actually, my mental health generally means like generally we have some up and downs in our moods and different
Mm,
kind of like we may surface anger, we may surface different kind of emotions, but like
correct.
the issues come when we keep it lagging like or we keep it dragging for a longer duration of time. Like, yeah, I'm happy right now if I got a chocolate. That's
Mm,
general. But
mm,
if I got like a sad or like for longer time, like I became sad if I got lower marks, it's fine. But
correct.
I keep having that very thing for like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and I'm not able to overcome it. That's when the mental issue arises, according to me.
Okay. So the real issue about you, like when it's like it's a prolonged course, right?
Yeah.
So giving some stress on this definition of mental health. Okay. So when we talk about mental health, what do you think? We should label it as good and bad, or right or wrong? So something we should focus on is that healthy and unhealthy. When we talk about mental health, there is an unhealthy way and there is an healthy way. And for you and for me, the healthy ways of coping to our mental health is really different.
Yeah. Trishna, I guess we are losing connection a bit.
I am audible, right?
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
now?
yeah. You are audible now. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I am coming back. I was talking that your mental health, your healthy way of coping with the situation and my way of coping with the situation is really different, because you come from a different background, you come from a different situation, you come from a different way of like environment, right? And my also even the same, if I talk about myself or even I talk about people present in this platform, is like it's different for everyone. Okay. So when we talk about unhealthy ways, for me my unhealthy ways would be different, your would be different. So where how we form this healthy and unhealthy thing of mental health. So it's basically when we put some stress on this, like put some stress on the definition of mental health. We talk about how about the overall well-being of a person. And when we talk about overall well-being of a person, it basically focuses on the way we think, the way we feel and the way we act, right? Let's say, for example, giving example of exam. You and me is sitting for a competitive exam, right? So for me, the way of dealing with that exam would be different. Let's say, for example, there is an exam, and you are taking only 2 months for preparing that exam, and I'm taking a 1 year for like for preparing for that exam. So my way of thinking that competitive exam is totally different, and your way of taking it, it is really different. Please focus on this part. Thinking, like coming starting from this itself, like, okay, I'll take 2 years to prepare for my exam, and I'll take 2 months to prepare for my exam. So my thinking pattern is totally different than yours, right? And accordingly,
Yeah.
my emotions, my feelings, my emotions, let's say I would put a lot of effort, and my emotions according to that effort is really different than yours, right? Your feeling is like,
Yeah.
okay, right? I'll do it, I'll crack
Yeah.
it, I'll
Sometimes,
start.
like, we invest too much of our
Yes,
emotions into something,
yes,
and somewhere we like kind of avoid it for as much
correct.
as we can.
Yes. So it's basically how you form your emotions from your thinking pattern, right? And how you
Right.
think your emotions generates accordingly, right? And when you generate your emotions, your thoughts, you behave accordingly, you act accordingly, right? Your action reflects, and your action would be unhealthy way and unhealthy way, right? So that is
Yeah.
the formula of like thought plus behavior, thought plus emotion equal to behavior. And where, let's say, for example, when we taking a negative thinking pattern, when we change this negative pattern to negative pattern to a positive one, when we try to alter this perception of negative to positive, we try to change our behavior, sorry, we try to change our emotions, we automatically change the emotions. Let's say, for example, it's taking the same example of competitive exam. When you think that, okay, I cannot do it because it's like I have to complete a lots of syllabus and I can't do it, I'll take more time. So what happens, you're already forming a negative thought pattern that you cannot do it, and accordingly you form a negative emotion, that you feel sad that you are unable to complete the syllabus, you feel very frustrated. And when you feel frustrated, you behave in an aggressive way, your sleeping patterns get disturbed, right? And accordingly, some people get indulged with substances, with drugs and all, to cope with the particular behavior, right? So
Hmm.
accordingly, when you change the same thinking patterns to positive, you influence the behavior, you have the choice to influence your behavior, right? So influence as in, like, let's say now, okay, if I can't do it, let's divide my syllabus into some parts so that I can complete it in a particular target. So accordingly, you emotion generate emotions of hope, right? Hope of clear, like, just completing your syllabus. When you have hope, when you generate your hope and you succeed with your target, you have that motivation, right?
To
Then
carry
when you
on for next
have
one.
motivation, you again work on yourself when you do it. That is the process of mental health. And when we get into mental health disorders or mental health illness, when our thinking, this thinking patterns become more negative, irrational, right? When our day-to-day life becomes like our occupation and our personal life, our social life get distorted, then we get into mental health disorders, right? So this is the basic concept here regarding mental health. And when we talk about the causes, people, I don't know, people here most probably think that it is because of their like they have already built up such character, that like character of being a mentally ill person, right? Like, let's say, for example, Shikha, you're a mad girl. People commented. So that comment affects you, correct?
Yeah,
Everyone
for sure.
affects everyone. So that comment of, you are this, you are dead, that labeling makes you more weak, right? More weak. And
Right.
that stigma again, you again revolve with that stigma of not going to mental health professionals. Again you suppress your feelings, again you get into more negative, and again you create your mental health illness, right? This is the phase that we generate. So the cause is not only the, like, your character, it's basically a biological cause. Your environment, your culture, your social expectations, everything matters here. Because for me and you, the culturals are different, right? For your social expectation, your
Yeah.
family members expectations are different, my expectation are different. So I will deal my situation according to my expectation, according to their expectations. So my coping mechanisms are developing through that. So this is really an important concept to know about. Like, we should start from right now, like, to think, to analyze. Okay, there is a saying called, rather than reacting, we should respond. I guess you heard about this. I don't know, but
Yeah, I have heard of it.
yeah, when you respond, you analyze, you logically think, you rationally think how to act. But when you react, it's
Or
very
how to overcome it.
yeah, it's very impulsive.
Yeah.
Like, oh, right, oh. When you say oh, people, the way you're going to interpret my oh is really different, isn't it? So that
Yeah.
is the, you should always analyze while you respond, you react to a particular situation. So that is the basic concept of mental health, and the causes are like, it is biological, it is environmental cause. There are different, your childhood memories can cause different mental health issues. So we should always destigmatize this part of not going to mental health professionals, or we should stop labeling people that you are this or you are that. Because let's say, for example, if you label it, you are forming that kind of society where you should ask yourself that you really want this kind of society, or you really want this kind of yourself in this society where you are labeled. Like, let's say you're not being labeled right now, but somewhere some people will label you if you form this kind of personality, of if you form this kind of behavior in the society, right? So that is the, this is the important part where you should change our mentally, our perception, not mentally, we should change our perception. It's a really gradual process. We should do it really, like, gradually, one step ahead, but we should try at least. And also, you want to ask any question,
Yeah,
anything?
there are actually two questions put up in the question box. The
Hmm.
first one is, what is the best counterpart for countering mental illness?
There are lots, actually. It depends on a variety of people. Like, it different people have different way. See, for me, sometimes sleeping is like a therapeutic thing. Okay, I sleep a lot for my mental health. And sometimes, for some people, people listen to songs, people go to their own space, people go to their, if you are unable to go out, please go to a place where you feel safe, be sit there for some time, and do some mindfulness techniques is basically a kind of breathing exercise in that space where you feel comfortable. Let's say your room, you feel very comfortable in your room, right? So for some time, just leave whatever you are, just close your eyes and just breathe and inhale and exhale. And then write it down what you feel like, what moment it strike at that moment. You write it down, analyze it, communicate. Communicate is really very important. Assertive communication. You put your values, you define your values. That, let's say, for example, Shikha and me has a conflict. Okay, Shikha, I'm just taking an example of you and me
Yeah, yeah,
here.
sure.
You and me having conflict. And if I don't communicate with you, are we going to solve this things? No, right?
Hmm.
Are we going to solve our like, see again, think, emotion, and act. Again, coming the cycle. Why our anger comes? Because we put a negative thinking pattern there. We don't communicate. We misinterpret information, right? So we should label our emotions, what we are feeling. So from the part of Shikha is that validating the emotions. You should validate. It's not necessary that you should always speak or you should always find a solution for every problem. You don't need to fix anything. Be there with her. Be there with that person. Listen to her, what she's saying. Try to understand her perspective, her environment, her cause, so that you can, wherever you, let's say for example, in your day-to-day life, you may experience that same kind of feeling. So you might need the same person in that moment. So you might not be like, the person may not be there. So you need to realize how to tackle with those situations. So that is the point here. So you can you can form a gratitude journal for yourself. Write what five things, positive five things, like what you are good in and where you are bad, this, like your disadvantages and advantages. And you know your advantages, right? You are working on your advantages, but what about disadvantages? You don't work it. You just state that, okay, I'm not good in this, I'm very sensitive, I'm very emotional. But no, if you're emotional, it doesn't mean that you're weak. You are sensitive. That's a human emotion. That's absolutely normal. Being very sad, being very like very feeling very worst, at the worst point you feel very sad. Of course, it's really normal. It's very normal to feel like that. So you should always validate the emotions that you have. Write it down. Uh, just think what you need to do. You don't need to fix it at that moment. Try to communicate with what you wrote it down. Reflect your things so that you can process it. You can understand what the next time you feel the same way, what you're going to do. Through that way, our coping mechanism, our coping styles develop. Yeah. Any other
So
questions?
basically, people have to do self-realization and like analyze themselves by their
Correct.
own things, right?
Yes, there are different mindfulness techniques where you can use gratitude journals for yourself, like writing advantages and disadvantages. So how you are going to work on your disadvantages? If you have any disadvantages for you, your it may not be a disadvantage. For me, it can be disadvantage, right? So I have to work on that as well, right? Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, do you think the government can do anything to counter depression, or does the power lies in private therapists?
Sorry.
Like even I couldn't understand fully, but it's like I guess what he's trying to convey is like can government do anything to like encounter depression that's actually ongoing this due to this COVID time more than usual, or is it like they have to always seek for a private therapist?
Government. So see, government, there are different, you know, rehabs. There are different NGOs, different, if not even private, there are also government hospitals which are working on this, right? So you can, if you need any help, you can go there. There are many people, there are many mental health professionals who are there for your, like, they will help you guys. They will help you with to tackle the depression, like with the symptoms that you're facing.
Okay, I guess his question is being answered fully.
How do we
The
scale?
next question,
Yeah.
the next question is how to master one emotion. Like I
How,
guess he's trying to convey like how to control his emotion particularly.
state your emotions. what kind of emotions you're feeling, and try to think whether this emotions, whatever you're feeling right now, is it like, is it like, is it like rush at the moment. Let's say for example you are feeling very sad. So at that moment, if you're feeling sad, just try to calm down yourself. First step, calm down yourself. If you are unable to write it down, just, or if you're unable to write it down, you just have to just think. You just think that, or just be there at that moment and think about the situation where you are in. Just analyze it. The what you what why what made you sad, and what are the alternate options to, you know, not overcome, but like reduce, not reduce also, like just reduce the intensity of the sadness. Let's say for example I'm sad, I listen to good music so that I can feel a little happier at that moment, right? So try
Yeah.
to do such kind of, you know, take like steps at that moment if you are unable to control it. Huh.
Okay, so the next question is from Sudhanshu, and it's like how to scale the intensity of mental illness. Maybe it for us
There are
or
many
someone else.
scales actually. There are many scales, and if you want to rate your own mood, let's say for example you're really very not, you're not feeling well, write it down what you're feeling currently, and then rate it. And do you frequently feel that, or what? Just rate it down, or and then analyze it again. See which, what can you do. And there are different scales to, you know, uh, to analyze, to measure your mood. So you can use that as well. If you need any help, you can come to me.
Uh, Next question is what you suggest for people who can't afford mental therapy sessions or rehabs?
That is a, you know, that is the main problem here, that people who are, there are many, you know, many NGOs who are working on this, many institutes which are working on this part. And in this like in last year in 2021, so the World Mental Health Day was based on that. I guess everyone knows about this. So like people has this biasness over the, you know, expenses, the things. So you, we should always keep some minimal amount, some reasonable amount, so that people of every community, every, you know, every section of society could access this, you know, access this service. Okay, so and you should always see their backgrounds. We should always look on that as well. So if they are unable to afford it frequently, or they are unable to afford it at the present moment, see the alternates, what, where you can do, give some referrals where you, he or she can go, where she can afford. Let's say for example you and me are opening a private clinic. Okay, so if I am unable, if he is unable to give me, and I know that someone who is doing in the same or at a very reasonable rate, I would refer to them. So you can do that as well. uh,
Okay, so the next question is what action could we take to help someone who is exhibiting unstable mental health?
Sorry, where is the question? I can't get the question.
Actually, it's in the question section here. Can
Okay.
you see the question mark? Like there's an ad comment. After that, there's the live
Oh, yes,
video.
yes, yes. What?
You got it?
Yeah,
It's the second question in the list. What action could we take to help someone who is exhibiting unstable mental health? I
yeah,
guess this is like dealing with mentally ill people.
Yeah, very good question. uh, there is one there's one concept where in the field of mental health is mental health first aid. So this is a program that is initiated by every institute here. Like they provide some program, like provide some education on how to support people who go through mental. It's a short term, short term comfort for people. Okay, where you can you can deal you people, like they educate about the signs and symptoms when you need, like you have to help them in which situation and what way. So these are the training programs where people are like like establishing and introducing in this field of mental health right now. So you can go through that as well. And also like when you come to private clinics or you go for government anywhere, like when you go for mental health professionals, they like they try to psychoeducate psychoeducate the family members, the like the relatives, the patient as well, about how to support and how to cope with the illness at the present moment. So that is really very important. So it's a kind of therapeutic intervention that is included in the field of mental health. uh okay, I guess this is there is there any other
Yeah, there are
question?
so many questions actually. Like one is how to realize that our parents are going through a hard time since they don't express much.
How to realize that our parents are going through a hard time since they don't express much? Yes, it's really interesting question. Yes, there are many parents who are not very expressive. So your small action would like really help them to motivate or express them as well. Let's say for example, when my father is not really very expressive, I try to communicate and try to hug him at sometimes. And one day he was like he cried when, yes, he did, and it was really very strange that he cried when I hugged him, and it was sudden actually. So it is like your small, you can gift him, or you can give any message to him so that he can keep motivated and try to express with you. So that is a small part you can take from it, and try to introduce this field called mental health in front of them, so that they could understand what this field is, so that they could express themselves. If they have any issues going through, they can go and access to mental health professionals, so they can get help. So this is really very important. You can educate your parents as well on this field.
Okay, and the
I
last
guess that.
question is that, yeah, like one more question is actually being put in the comment box.
uh,
Um, like, are there some books which they can use to dive deeper into mental illness?
where is it?
Like, check out the comment section. Root Raw has put that comment.
I can't see that.
This is the last.
He
You can't
he
see the
wants
comment?
some suggestion about books.
Yeah.
Books on.
Books on mental health.
There are many actually. Mental health books. There is not specific, like that, but there are. You can read. There is one book called Viktor Frankl, who has given on Search for Meaning. There is one book on subconscious mind. There are lots actually. If you want a list, you can contact Shikha. I will give you the list. I don't remember exactly the names as well. So I have the list of the books, and I can send you the book names as well. Yes, I guess it's
That's
done.
all, I guess. One
Yeah,
personal question I have, that like people are actually dealing with different kind of stress situation. Like someone lost their parents, some do lose their loved ones, and
correct.
times have been difficult. Like some lose their jobs. So people are kind of stressed right now. So what can be done to relieve them?
You cannot relieve them. Like, you can just try to uh, communicate with your own self, so that you can communicate with your own thoughts. Let's say, for example, you are going through uh, like a stress, like you are going through a stress where you have lost someone at that moment. So it's not necessary that you have to do, you can just give a pause for yourself. Just put aside aside your schedule and give some importance to yourself. Try to process the emotions of that loss. Okay, of that loss, of that stress, of that COVID, like said, like COVID scenario is going on. So because like we know that in our generation the youth is really losing their social connection with their family members, with their friends, and and got attracted to gadgets, right? I guess this is
Like,
true.
yeah,
So
most of the time is going to
yeah,
be
so
spent
that they
on
can
the
spend their
gadget
whole
and
time
social
on
media.
that. So the thing is that you should give some space to yourself and just think, give some space, choose some meditation, um, take some time for giving that, processing that emotion. Yeah, am I
Yeah, I
audible?
guess I know. Yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah. So you have to do all those, and you can go out for with your parents, or you can go out for some moment, be there, sit there, like, like, just process the emotion through the nature, connect with the nature. You can do a lot of things there, and you
So
can
basically,
uh,
they need to like feel themselves. Is it
yes,
it so?
if they're unable to process the emotions at that moment, you have to, like, at that moment, then you should give time for yourself, just keeping aside your schedules for some moment. I know that there is a lot of work, so but you yourself is really very important, right? Your physical health, your mental health is really important. If you are not really you giving importance to it, how would you work for the company, for anyone you are working for, right? So first, give prioritize yourself. So that is the main priority, like, main thing here. So, and also, if you are, again, if you are unable to tell someone anything, like, let's say, for example, you want to convey some message to your friend, you are into conflict or someone, you can write a letter for them, right? If you're unable to verbally tell them, write a letter for them, express your feelings, what you are going through, what you felt bad about, right? So this, through this way, the person is going to communicate. If you're not verbally, you're not active, you can do it through that, right? So there are different techniques as well, through, if you can, like, to reduce it, to reduce the pain, or reduce the stress.
I
Yeah,
guess that's all the questions are end. And you have really some good comments if you check the comment section there.
I can't actually, where I can check the
Okay,
comments.
let me read it out for you.
Okay.
Uh, like from Sanju, you have got thank you, ma'am. From Root Raw, you have got thank you
Okay.
again. And from Rahulkar, you have also got thank you. And Sudhanshu said, like, okay, it was indeed a great session.
Thank you so
Followed
much.
by Shruti, like, she said, like, it was really helpful session and thanks to you.
Thank you, Shruti.
And again, Deputy girl, someone said, like, great session, ma'am. Thank you so much. I guess, like, you helped many people today, and I'm really happy to be a host today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. This is really nice to, interact with you guys. I hope we will meet soon with some new sessions. Yes, you guys want to talk,
Yeah.
you tell something, Shikha?
No, no, I was actually just going to, like, I guess we can end the session now, and we can have a short session later again.
Later, yes.
We
Okay.
will really have like to cope up with you again and have an event.
Thank you.
It was
Okay.
really great to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Shika. Take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Okay, Trisha, you have got some message like Rootraw have asked, how can we contact you for consultation? Rootraw,
Oh,
you can contact me and I will provide you her Instagram ID and you can get her from there. Right,
okay.
Trisha? Am I right?
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you so much, Trisha,
Bye bye.
for being with us today. Bye bye. Take
Bye
care,
bye.
everyone.